Hey, chemistry kiddos. Today I am going to remind you how to find valence electrons based on the group numbers in the periodic table. It's going to be very important in this unit that we know how to find the valence electrons. So watch this video and then answer those few questions in your assignment today. So first and foremost, we have to define what is a valence electron. So a valence electron is just the electrons that are in the outermost energy level of an atom, right? So we've already done our Bohr models, and remember in a Bohr model you start with those lower energy levels, you start filling 2 electrons and then so on and so forth as those energy levels increase. A valence electron are just going to be the electrons in the outermost energy shell, okay? So the definition of a valence electron is an electron that's in the outermost energy shell. Now, an element can have multiple valence electrons, and we have to be able to determine how many valence electrons a particular element is going to have. And the way we do that is we use the periodic table. So it's actually pretty simple. So to determine a valence electron for any given element, you just have to look at the group number that it's in. Okay, so we've already talked about this a little bit when we were talking about ions, but we know that these we already know that the metals donate electrons and our nonmetals gain electrons, and we can use their position in the table to determine what their charge will be, but we can also use their position in the table to determine their valence electrons. So all of the elements in group 1 will have 1 valence electron, okay? All of the elements in group 2 will have 2 valence electrons. We're going to skip the transition metals for now because transition metals can have varying amounts of valence electrons, so we'll talk about that a little bit later, so we're not going to worry about the transition metals. And then over here, remember groups 13 through 18, these are also labeled as groups 3A to 8A. These are same thing. The group number corresponds with the valence electrons. So if an element is in group 13, they'll have 3. 14, they will have 4. 15, 5. 16, 6. 17, 7. And then of course 18, those are our noble gases. We know that they are stable and they have those 8 valence electrons around the outside. Okay, so that's it. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Again, we're going to skip those transition metals for now. You just find the group number that the element is in, and then that will tell you the number of valence electrons. Again, for these right here, so 13 through 18, they're also known as groups 3A through 8A. If you're looking here like on P table, you have to remember you got to drop the 1. Okay, so like you can't have, it's not going to be 13 valence electrons if the element is in group 13, it's going to be 3. Okay, these don't have 14 valence electrons, they have 4. Okay, so depending on what periodic table you're looking at, if it's labeled as 3A through 8A, that's just the number. If it's labeled as 13 through 18, you just got to remember to drop the 1.